Welcome back. There was great worry not long ago among folks living along the lakeshore when the only Western New York member of the board that oversees Lake Ontario's water levels was given the boot. Frank Sciromamano is a critic of the new plan, Plan 2014, that regulates the lake. Sciromamano said last year's flooding was not linked to the plan, but adds future flooding likely will be, making his replacement important for lakeshore dwellers. They wanted a voice. Well, the board chose Diane Kuehn, a professor at SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry. She's an expert on how people interact with the environment. I drove to Syracuse to talk with her, and she told me she shares Sciromamano's connection to the southern lakeshore, but not his opposition to Plan 2014.
I think it's done the best it can with trying to balance out all the different interests we're trying to balance out with regards to navigation, lakeshore properties, tourism and recreation, water, hydropower production. So all these different issues we're trying to balance out, and how do you do that? And I don't think there's any one perfect way to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Given what happened last year, there's heightened concern along the southern shore. Does that lead to concern for you? How are you going into this knowing that this exists out there right now?
Yeah, I am very concerned about it. I'm concerned about for the potential in the future, too. I think we need to make our communities as resilient as possible, and we're not there yet. And I guess my concern is that, when is this going to happen again, and are we prepared for it when it does happen again?
So how do you go about working on that from your end?
From my end as a board member, it's difficult because my job is to, look over the outflow from Lake Ontario. I think what board members can do, though, is connect the community to different groups that do work specifically on helping communities with the resiliency issue. Groups like New York Sea Grant, which is my roots, they do quite a bit with resiliency issues. They can work with communities on education and teaching people how to develop erosion control structures and, really preparing the shoreline for future storm events. I think that's going to be very important.
Folks in the Western New York area felt with Frank they had a certain liaison, if you will, at least someone who understood the area.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be able to fill that void?
I certainly hope so. I'm here to hear what people have, going on with their properties. I'm always willing to answer questions that they have, at least as far as I can at this point in time. And I do want to get to know people more in the western region. I do live in the Eastern Basin area, so I'm much more familiar with folks in that area, but I want to add on the western folks too.
Kuehn is an avid angler, by the way. Now, she mentioned New York Sea Grant. It's a very interesting group. You can learn more about it in my web story, which is now posted. Also, if you'd like to see my interview with Frank Sciromamano, it's sitting waiting for you in the Adam Interviews section. All of that on RochesterFirst.com.